text, but having conversations, I'm at 19 for the week. So I'm hopeful that I can get, 2 or 3 more by the day's end and, be above 20 for the week.
About 20? Okay, cool. What was like the consensus of your conversations this week?
So just a bunch of people on drips. Price points were just not aligned. Just
Okay.
want above market.
Okay. Gotcha. So a lot of people wanting above market. Let me. Okay, cool. I'm gonna wait for a couple minutes for other people to come in here. But 1 second. I think I need to make a loom on how to navigate the Discord. So I will be doing that. 1 second.
Gentlemen, how's everybody doing?
Feeling good.
How's it
Feeling
going?
good.
Good to see you guys.
Okay, cool. All right. What about you, David? How's the week been? How things been going?
Very good. Very good. 2 good leads, 2 really solid leads. I've been speaking today with Shane. Spoke very highly of you. He's a good guy. And want me to pull up the deal?
Yeah.
All right.
And then we'll do some role play here when other folks come in.
All right. Got my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So 155 acres. It's 4 40-acre properties, and this is 5 acres designated to a water tower. A gentleman by the name of Ed. He lives in a different county over, inherited the land 7-8 years ago. Couple structures over here. One of which is a house, I believe this one that his niece lives on. There's a barn and a shed, and he said the other buildings are decrepit.
Okay.
100 acres of tillable land that he currently rents out, and he said the cash flow isn't great. I didn't ask him exact numbers, but he said it's not great. I learned what is a CSR2 for Iowa, which is the ranking of the soil quality.
Okay.
I spoke with the owner did not know off the top of his head, but I spoke to Shane, who mapped it out, and he said it's something like 45, which is pretty low.
Okay.
The owner wants $1 million for it. He said the land was inherited. It's his name is on the title, but he kind of splits it with 50-50 with him and his sister, and it's the sister's daughter, the niece, who lives here.
Mm-hmm.
The sister lives in St. Louis, doesn't live anywhere close. And as I said, he wants $1 million, which works out to just shy of 6,500 an acre. Shane said that would be on the higher end of what you would get for it.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, I told him initially that I would probably offer around 6,000 an acre, and he did a very good job of sussing me out. I had some other people that I was talking to in this county. He wanted to know their names. I'm glad that I got my website set up. He asked me for that too. So
right.
Working on my phone skills too. I'm definitely I've been making improvements, especially since my mess up last week, and a lot calmer, a lot quieter, which you could tell is kind of hard for me. Letting him do the talking, and it was a very good conversation. I talked to him today, asking if he knew off the top of his head the CSR2. He didn't. I learned through Shane, but I'm gonna want to obviously check in with the owner next week. And my question is just really how I should play it and what mechanisms I should use to bring it down. He's not desperate to sell. He himself is a farmer. He's got 600 acres, as I said, a couple counties over. But there's a lot of potential here. Even though the land, the tillable soil isn't so great, all woodlands here, he said lots of deer come in from the woodlands. So a lot of potential for a hunting property, especially if we could get all 4. Oh, and then he said he wasn't sure if he wants to sell all 4 or just these 3 and let his niece still live on the house there.
Okay, so a couple things that I would say at first. You want to have him. You told me that he's not making a lot of money from this one. Is that right?
Yeah, he said he's getting rent on it, but his exact words were, "The rent's not great."
Okay. Yeah. So then you want to use that. The rent's not great. Hey, why don't you just liquidate this one, and put it into other assets that you might be interested in purchasing. If you're not generating that much income on this, it probably doesn't make sense for you to just hold on to this if you could just get a pretty large liquidity event pretty quickly here. That's what I would say. I'd get it. I'd say anywhere from like 800,000 to 875,000 will put you in the game. If at 6,000 an acre, that's too high in order to sell it. What did Shane say he thinks it could sell for on the market?
He said on the high end, 6,800 an acre.
Yeah.
He's also, and I've also been, I asked you to comp it when it came in, I think yesterday or on Wednesday.
Mhm.
Shane says that there's comps that are as much as 6,900, as little as 5,300. But he said 5,300 was most likely private sales, not on the market. Shane is optimistic. He thinks that either in auction or splitting it up or using it as a hunting property. So that and whatever, and I had the deal fall through last week, and I'm hungry. So
What about these other 3 parcels? He wants to sell all 3 of these.
yeah, he said that he would want $1 million for 4, and then he says if just 3, 750,000. So I don't think he's married to that number. I couldn't tell if he was just playing hard to get. He said if you can offer $1 million, there's a very good chance that I would consider. But as he's explained to me the situation, and then with the soil composition, I mean, $1 million would be definitely over asking for the state of what it is now.
Yeah.
I was thinking 900 for all 4.
I still think that's too much.
You still think that's too much?
You got to think about the exit. I mean, you'd have to be aggressive in your exit to sell this quickly. So I'd be wanting you to list this for around 975 to $1 million. So you got to think if you're at 900, it's not really a lot of room there. Not really. After fees and expenses and everything like that. What I would do as well is see, it's a big one for your first one, but
yeah,
you got to knock it out of the park. So what I would say is look at what some smaller lots are selling for in this area. Can actually do it right now.
I got it right here somewhere.
Oh, you already looked it up?
Yeah, I've been looking at other ones. It's this. I'm looking at 2. Yeah, this is the county. Van Buren.
So, for example, what about a 10-acre lot? What is a 10-acre lot selling for in this area?
Here's 13. I saw this one. The soil's not great here. 13 sold for 65.
Yeah, but this is not something I'd want you to do on your first deal is split this up because that would take months. Like what I want you guys to do is be able to build up cash flow first, and then we start tackling on these bigger ones. So the number one thing we got to figure out is like, okay, how does this work as a flip? That should be.
Here's 40 that went to, where's Keystone? 40 went for 6,800 an acre.
How quickly did that sell? How quickly did that one sell?
1 second. Let me get her up.
And now we got some more people in here. We'll get some role play going as well.
This 40 acres sold 2 weeks. A little bit more than 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
Yeah. This was in November actually, last year.
It's really quick, really fast. So okay. But
so yeah, things have been hot, and I think people there know it. I think that's why this gentleman said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I was looking at a different property family." Here's the 40 acre. Let's see. This 2 days back in December. The things have been flying off the shelf.
Yeah, but what about the price point of $1 million? That's what I want to look at that before we move on.
Absolutely. $500,000 with structure. All the ones that I saw here that were over. Is $500,000 enough of a comp, or we need higher?
No, it's got to be closer. Like so, that one 925. That's closer.
This is a comp that I was looking at that Chris sent in the in the group. It's split by the highway. That was the only thing, and this one also has a house on it.
Yeah.
But this one sold in a month last year at this time.
Okay. Yeah. So action steps would be to talk to the seller a little bit more. We want to see if we can get this under contract for around 875. And if you can get it under contract for around 875 to 900, I think at $1 million, 999,000, it could likely sell for that. I could see that happening. What about? Yeah, I want to see this one actually. This is a little bit a different type of land, but it'll show you the demand for this kind of property in the area.
210 here. It's got a big old river that cuts through it, which would be a big selling point. And this was
It took a little longer.
4 months. Yeah, 5 months.
Okay. So that's what I'd be expecting for you is like a 4 or 5 month exit around that, unless we're really aggressive. So that's what I'm saying. If you
And that's not including that would not be including splitting it up.
no, you don't want to split this up.
Okay.
Not right now. We got to build up the skill set first, do some flips first, get proof of concept, and then you can do that. But your first deal as a subdivide, that's going to take months and months and months, and it's going to cost a lot of money. You don't want to do that. So let's treat this as a flip. Offer anywhere from 800, 875, and just build that rapport with him. And then any call breakdowns or anything like that, we can do.
So that's what I was trying to do. Talked to him yesterday. Mentioned that he was picking up his wife was on vacation in Florida, so he chatted about that. He was on the way to the airport today. I kind of checked in. Hey, you're on the way.
Okay.
That's where I've been at. That is where I've been at. Thank you.
No worries. All right, guys. Before we do role play, we'll do some role play here. But I want to check in with Ahmad, Sheila, and Tyle. Sheila, you can start first. How are things going? How was your week?
Hi, everything's going. Excuse me, everything is going good. I had to call with launch control this morning, but since I didn't have my list available, he said we'll do it first thing Monday morning.
Okay. First thing Monday morning.
And he,
Okay.
yeah, he wanted me to ask you as well. Does LandVerse have their own templates, and he can go ahead and import it into my system?
Yeah, we do. It should be in their system already.
Okay. All right.
Cool. All right. Keep me posted on that. And then for your deal with that, the North Carolina one he sent me, that came from a text, or where'd that come from?
It's South Carolina. It came from a realtor that I know,
Okay.
and a person they're just really trying to get rid of it. They need some cash. And she said, I told her that I was into land, so I just shot it over to you and see if it was something that you'd be interested in.
With it being landlocked like that, there's no legal easement. It's close enough to the road where you could potentially do something with it or talk to the neighbors and get an easement going. But you'd have to buy it from that person at a deep discount. I'd say like 25, 30K.
Ooh.
Because you're solving the problem of getting the easement in there, right? And you got to think like an end buyer is not going to want to buy something that's landlocked.
Okay.
So if this could be a deal for you, it could be something you work out if you send a neighbor letter, or if you skip trace the neighbors and talk to the neighbors and say, hey, I'm just looking to get an easement to this property, buy it from the person, and then explain to them like, hey, this is landlocked, so we can't really do anything with this. We're going to have to spend some money to get that done. And then I see an exit for 60, 75K is possible if it has the easement. If not, you're looking at it sitting for a while and maybe selling for like, $35,000, $40,000 without an easement.
Okay. All right. So my understanding is that the land behind it is a family member. So
Okay.
what do you want me to just ask them? Can they pay for an easement? What's the verbiage you want me to say?
What do you mean when you say it's a family member?
What the land that you said in the back was landlocked that is some land, the land that is in conjunction with, it's a family member's land.
Oh, so those people are all family. So
Yes.
the two persons in front, they're family. So then I'm curious why there wouldn't be an easement. Because if you can get an easement, then you could probably get them anywhere from 40 to 50K if there's an easement there already.
I've been asking them. I don't know if it's a communication issue, but I talked. The lady that referred it to me, she's an actual realtor. So she said let her do some digging on it to see if it's one that they have in the family that she didn't know nothing about.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, so I would say do a little bit more digging. If there's an easement there, it's definitely worth a lot more. If not, then I'd offer a lower price, get the easement ourselves, and then just relist it.
Okay, so how much is an easement?
It could cost $0. An easement's cost me no money before. It's just about talking to the people that own the land, crossing over to your property.
Okay,
So
so she just need to get the. Sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, if these people are already family, then all they have to do is have a conversation and get an easement recorded. So that's what I would say. I would say like, hey, since there's no easement, make sure you guys get an easement recorded, and I could probably do this deal at, I would say $40,000. But I definitely want to check the comps a little bit more. But from what I saw, it's pretty accurate.
Okay, you say you'll come in at what number?
Around 40 if it has an easement. Without an easement, I'll go way low. Like I said, I'll go 25, 30.
Okay, cool. And how long will it take for you to close on it?
If I was to do the deal, or
Yeah.
I mean, tomorrow, as long as it makes sense. Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to know what I was dealing with.
No. Yeah. As long as it makes sense. Yeah. If you want to do the deal with me, we can JV on it or whatever. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. I'll jump on top of it and get back with the realtor and communicate with you in Discord.
Perfect. Awesome. How about you, Ahmad? How's everything going? Hello? Are you there, Ahmad?
Oh, hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you, man? How's everything going? How was your week this week?
It's pretty good. I'm just, in the call, just learning. So, but I've been just going through the modules. Hopped in one of the group coaching calls just to, understand more things. Um, and yeah, I've just been doing like a lot of the basic stuff. So yeah, but I've just been hopping in the calls just to learn stuff. And then once I, finish off the remaining amount that I got to give you, then start executing.
Perfect. Okay, cool. All right, guys. Well, let's get into some role play. Does anyone want to go first? If not, I'll pick you guys.
I'm always down to volunteer.
Cool. All right. We'll have Tile go and we'll have Ahmad go. And Vikram, can you do me a favor and give me the profiles, please?
Yeah, no problem at all. So profile is a seller who has a 30-acre hunting property. Property is worth right around 100. Seller wants 90 for it. You obviously need it at, right around 50, 55, max 60 for, I guess, a double close for the numbers to make sense. So property is worth 100. Seller wants essentially retail. They want, 90, 95 for it.
Cool. Who do you want to be the seller? Who do you want to be acquiring the property?
Yeah, I guess the seller could be Tayo. I think Ahmed may have just left the meeting.
Okay, so in the meantime, I'll have Sheila go.
Okay,
So go ahead.
Whenever you guys.
Okay, I'm ready.
Cool. Yeah, go for it.
Okay, what am I? What role am I playing?
Wait, are you sir? Yes, Sheila, you're gonna be seller. No. Sheila, I want you to be acquiring. I want you to be practicing. Uncle Tyler, you're gonna be seller. All right, go for it.
Okay. You gonna talk first?
I'm answering the phone. Hey, hello. Who's calling?
You're calling. He's got. Oh, this is Sheila.
Or should I be calling her?
Wait, all right. So Tyler's a
I'm
seller.
buying from you, right? I'm
Sheila's
buying from him.
Yes. So make sure when you introduce yourself, you're saying, "Hey, this is Sheila with company."
Okay.
Hello.
Hi, this is Sheila with Green Acres Legacy.
Green Acres. Like, what are you calling about?
I was calling about your lot you have on 123 Autumn Lane.
Oh yeah, yeah. What about it?
Well, I was calling to see, was it available? Had you considered selling it?
Actually, I have been thinking about selling that. What are you offering for it?
Right now, I'm just considering looking at it. I was trying to get some additional information from you. Do you have some time right now? We can go over the
Yeah,
property.
now's good. Now's good.
Okay, great. How long have you had the property?
We've had this for about 7 years.
Okay, great. I was trying to acquire the property. I have someone else that was looking at the property, and I was trying to see what would be a good price that you would like to sell the property for.
I was looking to sell it for about 100,000.
100,000.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you tell me how did you come up with that price that you
I
like to
saw
sell it for?
I saw some other properties actually really close by listed for around the same amount.
Okay. Well, I think I understand that the price that you have right now, that's a good number. I'll have to do my due diligence on the property to see if that's a number that I would be able to offer you. I would like to get some more information from you. Do you know if the property is in a flood zone?
There's I don't no, it's definitely not in a flood zone. Hey, can you tell me, do you buy a lot of properties?
I do. I buy a lot of property in your area, and I was just seeing your property. It was a really nice area, and I was very interested in it. That's why I got on the line with you today, so we can discuss the information.
Got it. What's your company name?
Green Acres Legacy,
Thank you.
and you can look us up on our website as well if you want to pull that up. It's greenacreslegacy.com.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I want to gather some more information. I'm gonna do some more due diligence on the property to gather my numbers. Can I give you a call back this evening? Once I get some numbers to see if that 100,000 is something that we'll be able to offer you on the property.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Okay,
One
let
more
me
question
pause.
before. Go ahead.
Sorry. Let me pause. Before I give my notes, Clyde, do you have any notes for Sheila?
No, I don't have it.
No. Okay.
Come on, Clyde. I know I did something wrong.
Vikram, do you have any notes for Sheila?
Yeah. What I would say is I definitely would build more rapport with the seller, and I would use Femi's acquisition script in the course and just kind of follow that from A to Z. Kind of start from question 1 going down to question 6, 7, 8. When just starting off with price, you're losing the ability of building rapport. So I would kind of ease my way into just building rapport, making sure they trust me and they want to potentially discuss numbers with me. And then once the time comes to ask them what they're looking for, I would definitely ask that a few more minutes into the call opposed to right away. And then I would also have the property comped out before you call them. So this way you can just discuss numbers with him there and then, because there's no guarantee you can get him on the phone later. I mean, he might just not pick up for a very long time. So I would just point out those couple things. But in terms of cadence, it was a good cadence, good tonality, but I would just structure it a bit bit more.
Okay. Thank you for that feedback.
Real quick, I had one. I do have one. So the only thing I would suggest is, well, when I get on the phone, only asking questions that you can't look at online. Because if you're an expert, like you can look up flood zone online, you can look up certain things online, you can see if it has road access online, if it has road frontage. So I wouldn't call and say like, is it in the flood zone? I would call and ask like, does it have access to power, water? Like, has it perk? Different things that you can't necessarily see, like kind of doing your due diligence online.
Okay.
So those two things are what I was going to say. So great job with you guys. We want to establish some more rapport first and get some, what are the pain points? Why is he interested in selling? Like why specifically? And try and escalate to, okay, well, it is because of this reason, right? Because we need that pain. We need that pain in order to be able to negotiate properly. We do. And so more emphasis on the rapport building. And Clyde hit a good point as well with the floodplains and the wetlands. Well, I can see that on the map. So like he said, like, well, when was the last time you've been to it? Has it been cleared? If it's been cleared, is there maybe trash on it? I want to put these little, little pins of doubt in his mind as well. And if I can't do that, if he's like, oh yeah, I've already been to it, I want to get to, well, I want to sell it because my daughter this, or I want to sell it because I'm looking to liquidate, or I want to sell it because I have another property I want to buy. That's what I want to get to. And we only get to that from building that trust, because he doesn't know you. And so the only way that he'll tell you something like that is if he trusts you, right? If he doesn't trust you, if you can't build that rapport with him, then you'll never know, and you won't know how to make the connection with him to get the property under contract, right? So we can resume what you were doing, but keep that in mind of like, let me build rapport with him and let me try and figure out what some reasoning is to why he might be trying to sell. Because then if there's nothing that will get him to 65,000, there's no motivation, then it's going to be hard to get him to 65,000 from 100. So we got to figure out what those points and what those pains are. Does that make sense?
Yes, it makes a lot of sense. Look, I'm driving, so when you threw the ball to me, I was just like, okay, let me see what I'm gonna do. Okay. But I take all your guys' feedback.
No, I had no idea you were driving. Please drive carefully.
I'm good. I'm a pro. I'm in LandVerse, y'all. Okay. Where it says script at Femi, is it in the course that he's referring to?
The script, yeah, it is in the course, yeah.
Okay. All right, I'll get on top of that.
A couple of things for me, and I have a follow-up for one thing Clyde said, but one thing for me is when I said that, how'd you get to the price, and I looked at I said, the other properties were sold for about that much. I think at prior meetings you said, well, always mention that what they're listed as might not be accurate. It's what's actually sold. So that's a good way to kind of come back at that objection. And then a question based on what Clyde said, I really like that comment about, the things that you can see beforehand in your due diligence, maybe not ask those. Would there ever be a situation where you see something beforehand, like a flood zone, but you want to kind of confirm with the seller, or just kind of like blanket, if you already do that research beforehand, just kind of let it go and just focus on the things that you really can't find? And let me know if that's not making sense.
Clyde, you want to answer that question?
I haven't been in a situation like that as of now where I saw something that I wanted to confirm. So actually, I actually had a property just fall out of contract. So like something I would probably ask, if you see, I had a parcel that I got under contract for, and they actually didn't perk. So if you was around and then that one doesn't have a house on it, then you might want to confirm, like, oh, have you got a test before? Have you tested the soil or something like that? So that's probably what I would ask.
Awesome.
Cool. Okay, cool. Let's go David and Ahmad. Clyde, do you want to give a scenario?
Wait, Femi, I was gonna say, could we do the scenario that I'm in right now?
Yeah.
That I do want to get here.
You want to be the seller or the buyer?
No, I want to try and be me. I want to try and work over how I'm gonna talk to this guy.
Okay.
Next
I want
time.
Ahmad to get practice in.
Okay. No.
Right.
Go with Ahmed first, and then if we could do me later.
Okay, cool. Then let's do, because if you're gonna do that, David, I'm gonna have you go with Vikram. That's why I'm saying that. Clyde, are you up for it today? You have to be a buyer. I mean, to be a
that's
seller?
fine.
Cool.
Yeah, that's fine.
Ahmad and Clyde then. Ahmad, you're gonna be the buyer. Clyde, you're gonna be the seller. David, can you give me a situation, please?
Yeah. It's a 40-acre property, one parcel. It was inherited by your father. The seller wants $45,000 for it, but it's worth, which is about market value. But we want to get under contract for 20. So hunting property with one hunting cabin and a good amount of deer.
Right. All right. So you said hunting is what's the numbers again?
40 acres.
Okay.
He wants for, what did I say? 40,000?
Yeah, 40. You said 45K is market value.
45K is market value.
Yeah.
Yeah. 20.
Hey, okay.
Okay. Well, I'm currently driving, so I'm gonna just let's do this though.
Please drive carefully.
Yeah.
You up for it? Okay, all right. Go live, guys. But please be careful.
Okay. All right. This is Clyde again, right?
Yep.
Okay. All right. All right. Hello. Is this Clyde?
Yes. Can I ask who's calling?
Hi. This is Ed from TerraFlip. I was calling about the parcel of land that you had on Oven Street there.
Yes, I've been recently. I've been getting so much contact about this property. Like, where you all get my number from? Why do you keep contacting me? I don't understand. Is it listed online somewhere?
Oh, it's just public information, sir. That's the only reason why everything's public information. So we were able to sort of get access to be able to call you through that. Now, hold on, quick question. In a situation where
Oh,
you
go ahead.
send direct mail and the person were to call you back, right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you attack that a little differently? It would be like wouldn't you just approach it as in like, yeah, I'm calling because you had responded or called back to the mail that I sent?
Yeah. So it depends on if you have an answering service in between you or not. And usually, like if which I would suggest, just so you can
Yeah.
hold out nonsense. So the call would actually be in a cold call, kind of like this. It'd be maybe a warmer cold call if you're doing mail. Yeah. So it would be your call, like you would still get the okay. Well, yeah, let's get to it. Why are you calling me? Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Hold on, give me 1 second.
Okay. And then what I would say to Ahmad is when you're doing your intro, always make sure to say, hey, this is the name you're going to use with company name. And I'm giving you a call in regards to your parcel in this county. Right?
Oh,
so
county.
you stated who you are, where you're from, and why you're calling. And the first 5 seconds of the call. So that way there's not the, oh, who are you? So usually when you're able to state those 3 things at first, you don't get that. So that's really important. Instead of being like, hello, hi, hello, you want to be like, hey, this is so and so with this company. I'm calling you about this.
Okay.
All right, we're good to go.
Cool. All right, go for it, guys.
All right. I'm gonna just start from the top. Hello, is this Clyde?
Yes, may I ask who's calling?
Hi, my name is Ed. I'm from TerraFlip Systems. I'm calling about the parcel of land in Wood County.
Yeah. What about it?
Yeah, I was calling because you had reached out based on one of the letters that we sent, saying that you were interested in possibly selling the property.
Yeah, I get so many of those. I figure I haven't really been too interested in selling, but I figured I'd just kind of see what number you were going to throw out there.
Okay, well, I mean, what number were you really interested in, honestly?
Yeah, what offer did you give me for it? Because I think, it's been in my family for a while. I say it's probably worth at least like 60, 70,000.
Well, what made you come up with 60, 70,000?
Been looking online, seeing some properties that are listed around the same price, 40 acres, around 60,000. So I figured, mine should be worth the same thing if theirs are.
Okay. Do you know if their properties were like, similar like yours in terms of everything? Like not like they had the same features?
I mean, that's really kind of your job. I have my property, so I know what mine is, but I just saw they were the same acreages, so that's kind of what I stuck with.
Yeah, reason why I'm asking that again, just because the 2 properties may have the same acreages, that doesn't mean they're exactly worth the same. That's kind of why I was asking. Because I mean, I was just trying to figure out how you came to your number. because our number was more around the $20,000 mark.
Whoa. All right. So how did you get 20? So you telling me my property's worth a third of theirs, and it's the same size?
Well, not gonna lie, I'm stumped right now.
It's all good.
All right. So a couple things. You really just threw the offer out at him without getting any story at all. That's like the first thing. Like, I haven't really heard anything about him. We haven't built any rapport. There's no trust built yet.
Yeah.
How I would respond to specifically what he just said, or you telling me you're buying it for a third? Well, I start pointing out attributes that don't necessarily match with his property. Well, if you look at this property, this one had a perk test on it. It already had a septic system on it. It had water. Yours doesn't, as an example. Or the topography of this one is completely clear, and yours is in brush. And I could have someone walk it, but usually properties like this, if you haven't seen it in quite a while, most of the time neighbors are putting trash on properties like this, right? So I'm bringing things down before I even tell them a number, right? But at the point once I tell them a number, that's why I have to throw the pain. But if you don't, you got to have that period of like, okay, well, you're not interested in selling. I guess what got you interested in calling me, right? Oh, I just saw your letter. Oh, okay, well, have you thought about selling the property? So, I mean, the reason I'm looking for liquidity like that, those are the kind of questions I'm asking. And when did you see it? Did you see it, 2 weeks ago, or has it been 5 years, or have you seen it at all? Because a lot of the cases we get is like people that have never seen these properties at all.
Yeah.
And so if I don't know that, I can't tell you. I don't know what your motivation is like. So that's why we have to have those conversations as opposed to like just making the offer. So really, it's calling, having the conversation, building rapport, building trust, and then it's like, okay, now once I've established that trust, once I've established authority, once I've established that I've worked with people like this before, then we can make the offer. But if I don't have rapport building, if I haven't built trust, if I don't have that in place already, when I make the offer, the reaction is going to be like, whoa, who the hell are you?
Makes sense, right?
All right, guys, you keep going. Then I'll have David and Victor.
No.
Are we still? You might hear. I'm walking, so you might hear some background noise. I don't
That's
know
okay.
if it's too much for y'all. All right.
That's okay.
Yeah, I'm off on the move too, so yeah.
All right. Cool. So yeah.
Okay.
So you think, Mark? Are we still going, or next
No.
people going?
Go ahead. Go for a few more minutes.
All right. Cool.
I want him to practice building rapport a little bit. I want to hear that. All
right. All right. So let's start back at the point where I was like, okay. All right. So yeah. So I've been looking online, and I saw that some similar sized properties were going for 60,000. So I figured mine would be worth the same.
Okay.
You okay over there?
Yeah, I am. I'm just on the move right now. Anyway, so when's the last time you've been on the property?
It's actually been a while. We used to hunt on it when my kids were younger, but they got a little bit older. So, now they're off to college. So it's probably been about 2-3 years since I've been there.
Okay, so in about 2-3 years, you haven't been on the property, and you basically compared acreages, and based on what you saw, that's how you came up with your number. Is that correct?
Yep, that's pretty much it. Mine is 40 acres. Theirs is 40 acres. Theirs sold for theirs is selling for 60,000. I figured I should get 60,000.
Okay, cool. Okay, that's understandable. And you said you use it for hunting, right?
Yeah, we used to hunt. It's some good game out there. Some deer, got some fowl, a little fishing hole on there too.
Okay, cool. That makes sense. Damn, there we go. Do you hunt often? Is it some?
I mean, well, as I said, I used to hunt a lot when my kids were younger, but they're in college now. So I'm getting a little bit older. I retired last year. So honestly, haven't just kind of been hanging around the house. I live a couple miles away. So don't go to the property too much. Don't hunt as much as I did when I was younger.
Okay, okay. So, I mean, are you selling it simply just because you just have no real use for the land anymore? You don't hunt as much anymore, so it's just maybe some little extra cash in your pocket.
I mean, I never said I was selling it. You sent me the letter. So I just figured I called just to entertain it. But I didn't decide on whether or not I'm selling it.
Pause real quick. So he just told you the reasoning why he's calling you. You got to be able to expand on that a little bit more. He said his kids are going to college.
Right.
Right? So even if he's telling you like, oh, well, you called me, well, then I'm gonna switch to like talking a little bit about that. Oh, okay, cool. Son, daughter, right? Start building that trust. Oh, I actually have a son. He's going to Penn, right?
Okay.
How you build
Yeah.
that trust, and that's how you build you're building camaraderie, right? If you don't if you start saying stuff like, oh, well, when we use language like this sometimes, but when you just say, well, are you just you left? Well, I'll say it for the recording. When you're just saying like, I want to put cash in your pocket, we just want to be able to build camaraderie, because sometimes like that, oh, I just want to put cash in your pocket, that makes it like, how do I say this? It goes back to every other investor essentially. So everyone says that. A lot of people are not building camaraderie. A lot of people are not building trust and rapport, and that's how we do that. So we'll stop it there. Great job, Clyde. Hopefully he comes back. I'll have David and Vikram go because I know David wants to practice. Cool. All right. I'll give you do your scenario, David. Actually.
Yeah. So, gentleman, farmer, one county over. He's got 150. He's got this 155-acre property that he inherited. It cash flows to him not great. The CSR2 rating, which is the rating of the soil, is also subprime, like very much subprime. He wants it for $1 million, and I want to get it for $875.
Okay, I got it.
All right. I'm gonna use his name too. Is that okay, Vic? So I could just get that.
Yeah, whatever you're comfortable with, I'm good.
All right. Hey Ed, this is David from Other Land Acquisitions. How are you doing today?
Hey, I'm good.
So I was able to check with my team, and we're ready to make an offer for your 155 acres.
Okay, sure. Well, I guess what's the offer?
So you told me over the phone that you wanted $1 million, that you would definitely take it for $1 million. And I'm gonna be frank with you. If it was worth $1 million, you would have gotten an offer for that already. The best I could do is $875,000.
Gotcha. Well, hey, look, I appreciate the offer. As I told you, a lot of my land is tillable farmland, and us Iowans, we know the value of our farmland very well. So, I mean, I really think that I'd be comfortable at around $1 million. They're not making any more farmland, I'll tell you that. So that's pretty much where I'm at.
That's true. That is absolutely true. But as a farmer, you also know that the CSR2 rating is very important. And we've discussed this prior, that the gentlemen farming from you are not generating revenue that makes a difference. The land's sitting there, you're paying taxes on it. And with the capital from my offer, you'd be able to invest it in more land for yourself out where you're farming, buy a rental property. There's lots of things that you could do with $875,000 split between you and your sister.
Stop. So the pain should have been reestablished before making the offer.
Okay.
So instead of you said something that I should have paused you then, but the pain should have been established before the offer was made, right? Well, okay, what's this guy's name? You said? I don't know.
Ed.
Okay, Ed, you told me that you're not cash flowing very well on this property. I want to ask you, like, if you don't get liquidity from this, I guess what are your alternatives, right? I want to play advocate a little bit. Well, what are the alternatives if you don't get some liquidity from this one? Okay, gotcha. Well, listen, my team and I have prepared an offer. It is, I want to be very clear, it's not meant to offend you, but this is, honestly, the best we can do. And if just being frank, like if you could sell this for $1 million, it already would have sold probably much faster. And I can get this, I cut a little short. I can get this done for you. We're talking about 45 days. So you're talking about 875. You're talking about, $875,000 within 45 days. It would be something along those lines, more so than, hey, you're not going to get this anywhere else. It just won't happen. You see the difference?
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, this is something that's also something that I hit on last week, and I think Vic also has gonna have good input on this, and obviously Femi. Would you want to extrapolate like, hey, 875,000 is a lot of money. You could do this with that. You could buy a property. You could do that. Should I try pushing that, or because that, like, for me, that sounds not like scammy, but it sounds like a little like too pushy. So I tried saying 875. Then
So for this profile, no. That's why it's so important to know your profiles, which is why I said it in a different way. Remember when I said, what kind of things could you do with this capital? Or like, would a liquidity event like this make that big of a difference for you? I'm saying the same exact thing in a different way. I'm saying it in a way that a profile like this will be receptive to, instead of saying, well, you can go to Europe with it or whatever, because that's how a lower profile thinks. A lower profile that we're buying a property for, $30,000 or $40,000 from, that's how they're going to think, as opposed to a profile of buying a 7-figure asset from. It's just two different people.
okay, I'm definitely gonna look this over. I think the same thing. I'm gonna touch base with this guy before I wanted to make an offer again next week. So I'll see if I can get more paint or drive that in or build more rapport. Because as I said today, I'm trying to build rapport and not jump to it, not go too quickly.
Yeah, so those are the key notes before making the offer. I really think that this is something you can get done. But as long as you cover those points and go back over this call, and watch this section, especially because there's some key things in your tonality that you can do, and in you building the trust that will allow him to be like, okay, I'll take a haircut, right? And asking him like, okay, what are you going to do with it? Because he's already given you the fact that it's not cash flowing how he'd like it to.
Mm-hmm.
So it might make sense for you to take this liquidity and invest it into something that's giving you a proper return on investment, as opposed to this one.
And just one question. This is a bit preemptive too, but I did mention that he said he's going to confer with his sister, because I figured that they inherited it together. So he mentioned that she's going to have a say as well.
Yeah.
I haven't spoken with her today. I haven't spoken with her at all today, I mentioned, hey, if your sister is interested in hearing from me, I'll be more than happy. What in the event that I get pushback from her? Start the process.
I would actually see if I could get them on the same call, even if it comes down to it, and tell them like, hey, I'm actually happy to have a conversation with your sister as well, because I believe in making family decisions. I'm a family man myself. Mirror as much as you can, especially with someone like this.
Yeah.
Because you start doing that, they trust you. They'll respect the fact that you want to include the sister. Most people are not doing these things like at all.
Yeah.
Like, they're not thinking about these interactions on a deeper level, which is why a lot of people are not getting deals done. But when you think about the interaction at this level, like, all right, how do I navigate through this? Then the result is now you have a contract for $875,000. You can go sell for $1 million.
Amen.
So, yeah, I just higher level. We just want to think about these things as interactions that we can navigate and figure out what are pain points with them. How do I build trust with them? Like, building trust with the seller is like 80% of the battle, really. Like, honestly, price is the other 20% if they're motivated.
Mm-hmm.
Because even if you guys are off on price, they still call back a few years later because you're in their mind.
Hmm.
I remember when, I really like talking to David. So when I get ready to sell or if something happens, I'm going to call him.
So, yeah, so I had a situation. I'm supposed to talk to them tonight to send the wife and him the contract. And since I'm getting better on the phone, I'm not great as it now. But the main thing I do, yeah, kids. Oh, I had kids. Yeah, sister. Oh, I have a sister. Like, yeah, kid. You know what I mean? Like that is my quickest way to build rapport. Or like even so, the guy today, he was like, oh yeah, he's like, oh, I was a chef. I'm like, oh really, man? Like, where you cook? Like, what's your specialty? Then he told me that. He's like, yeah, I got a YouTube channel. I went to go look at his YouTube channel. And I checked it out, so that way when I talk to him again, like, oh yeah, man, your chicken parmesan, like that look good, man. Like I gotta try that. My wife said I don't cook enough. Like,
Yes.
and then we supposed to. That's the easiest way for me because it's kind of hard to like build rapport with things like I don't hunt. My family didn't hand me no land, so I can't build rapport in that. It's like, but I do have family, so anything with family, you could build a connection, and then just people like hearing about themselves. Like, oh, you cook? What do you cook? And so that's just my 2 cents.
That's great tip, Clyde.
Word.
It's fantastic.
Dude, I like me. Clyde and I started at the same time, dude. It's inspirational. I'm happy that you're. Vic's obviously inspirational. He's killing it, but especially that Clyde, dude. I love great tip. Thank you, brother.
I appreciate it. Just following the blueprint that Femi laid out, man.
Awesome, guys. Well, before we jump off, do you guys have any questions for me before we head into next week?
I don't have any as of now.
I got one other deal that gentleman was interested in. It's same thing, Iowa, same county, a lot of moving parts though. 200 acres, dude still farms it. His dad recently retired and he's thinking about retiring, but he was giving me detail. And I at the very beginning, he was just telling me all this stuff and how the big farming operation. And I was like, sir, like, I think if you're really trying to get out, I was like, I don't want this. Probably doing it with the realtor. But he goes, well, I'm interested in hearing an offer, right? Like I don't want to deal with realtors either.
Yeah.
So I figured I was gonna check it out. And he said a lot of things that I would really need to dig in deep, and I just don't know if that's what I should be doing with my time. So right here, Bainhart. This was under his sister's name.
Yeah.
But he said 200 heads of cattle, so he's got right here, and then up here, and it's altogether around 200.
What is he going to sell it for?
He said he'd be happy with 7,000 an acre.
I mean, he wants pretty much market.
Yeah.
And there's already cattle on it.
Yeah. I would have to remember the exact thing that he said.
If so, I'll give you a scenario. If like there wasn't cattle on it, it might be a little
just
easier.
let you know the calves should generate 80K this year and row crop around 60K.
Yeah, there's a low likelihood, but you can still work the lead. But what I was gonna say is, if it was a situation where it could be. I've sold properties like those before where cattle can be run on it, and there's no cattle currently being run on the property. Then you have a situation there. But with this, he's already making money from it. It's a cash flowing asset for him, so he doesn't really have any reason to sell this at below market value.
Yeah. All right. I just wanted to double check right now.
No problem. Keep at it. All you guys keep at it. Great job on today's call, and I will see you guys on Monday.
Have a good weekend, everybody.
You guys too.
Right on.
Bye.